everybody. Welcome back to Rush Roots Season 3. Today we have Kellindo Parker, lives in Dallas, Texas, and plays guitar for Janelle Monae. So awesome stuff. And we're going to get to learn about your Rush roots here. So, Jim, go ahead. Take it away.
All right, so why don't you tell us how you heard about Rush, what got you into them, and what keeps you around?
Yeah, well, this might date me a little bit, but I remember seeing commercials, like ads for Rush albums on TV back in the day when I was a kid, and I heard some songs on the radio, but wasn't really paying much attention at the time. And then a friend of mine, one of my best friends' name is Mark. He said to me, "Hey man, I know you love Queen. We had a great time watching Queen in concert at the Garden. Well, my favorite band is coming to town. They're called Rush." And I was like, "Oh, all right." I was like, sure, whatever. I didn't get it at all. I didn't understand the vibe. I went to that concert. This was the Signals tour, and I was completely blown away. As great as the Queen concert was, and that Queen concert was the best concert I ever saw in my life, easily. Orchestra seats, amazing show. Um, but then I saw Rush, and I was always like, Roger Taylor is the greatest drummer in the world, And yeah, Roger Taylor is a great drummer, great singer, great writer. But he said, nah, yeah, he's great, but wait till you hear Neil Peart. And I was like, all right, dude, yeah, that signals. And I didn't know
Oh
any
yeah.
songs yet. So for me
Oh wow.
I remember getting Lee introducing Alex Lifeson and calling him the analog kid. And I was like, oh, what's this? They started playing down, down, diddly boom, diddly diddly boom. I was just
Yeah.
done. It was so great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's so great. And that Signals was my first show. I saw them
Oh,
in Dallas, and that was just such a fantastic show. And probably like you, and I was a kid when I saw it, and I was just going crazy. Probably just like you were. And
yes.
the songs that they chose to play on it, that was just amazing.
Amazing. Hmm.
Absolutely amazing. That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome. You got to see
became
that concert.
addicted. Yeah, man.
Oh
After
yeah.
that was it. I couldn't miss. I don't think I've missed a tour. If I missed a tour, it was just because I was on tour or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, you name
Yeah.
it. I've been to pretty much every Rush tour.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
That's so great.
That I
Yeah.
was actually just going to ask you that too. Like, yeah, what other shows have you been to? And that's great that you saw every or
Ah,
close to every tour after that. Yeah, that's
Hold Your
cool.
Fire. I saw them. I feel like Hold Your Fire might not have been at the Garden. It might have been in New Jersey when I saw them at the Brendan Arena. Maybe, whatever, wherever they were for that one in the tri-state area.
Yeah.
Saw that. Um, I know I saw Presto with my girlfriend at the time. She was like, she's an opera singer, so she was like, whatever. Um, I saw pretty much. I saw Counterparts. I saw the Presto show, I believe, was at Jones Beach. That was the one that I didn't enjoy my seats. I remember trying to save some money, and I got two tickets
Mm.
way up high, and I decided it
Oh,
felt like I was watching them on TV rather than being at the
Yeah.
show. So
yeah.
I decided after that, that's it. Never gonna sit way up, just get good, invest in the good seats. I
Yeah.
saw them in I saw them in Seattle at the Gorge.
Mm.
Amazing tickets. We got scalp tickets right on the spot that day and had seats, pretty much. I think we stood like right in front of the stage. And what tour was
All
that?
right.
What tour? Oh, I think that was right around the Rio tour when they did the Rio album.
Oh,
So
Um,
the
okay.
it
Vapor
was right.
Trails
4:30.
tour.
It was either Vapor Trails
Paper
or
Trails.
right before Vapor Trails, before the long break. So I do remember the
Okay,
Vapor
so
Trails
Test for
show.
Oh,
Echo tour.
Test
Yeah.
for Echo.
Yes, Test for Echo. That's why I saw them in Seattle. But then let me tell you, Vapor Trails, when the Rio concert, I'm not sure the video came out yet or not. I don't think it came out yet, but they played Madison Square Garden. That was their first show in 5 years after
Yep.
all the
Mm.
tragedy that happened to Neil Peart's family.
Right.
And I had just had hernia surgery.
Oh, oh
I'll never
man.
forget. Yeah, I was playing. Yeah, I was running. Never run and sneeze at the same time. That's all I got to say.
Good to know.
I'm at the
Oh man.
show and with my lady at the time, and I that was the first time I ever cried at a rock concert.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Neil Peart
It's
played his
it's
heart out.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh
for
my
sure.
goodness.
It's very moving. It really is.
Yeah.
That show especially was very
Oof.
moving.
I was crying. I was every time I clapped, it hurt. When I laughed,
Yeah,
it hurt. Crying hurt.
yeah.
You know, the surgery.
All bad. You're like, stop.
Ow! 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 Ow!
Yeah.
Yay! Ow!
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yes.
All right. So this next question is to kind of learn, I guess, where your preferences were when you started becoming a fan and kind of where your preferences are now. And now as we're all hardcore Rush fans, you love everything, but I want to know kind of like what your first favorite song and first favorite album was. Like if you had to pick in the early days of you being a Rush fan versus how does that like nowadays, what's your go-to song or album?
Mm-hmm. Uh, Excellent question. As far as I remember, the first album I went to was the obvious, Moving Pictures,
Yep.
Tom Sawyer. You know,
Mhm.
Tom Sawyer was right there. It was just so hard hitting, kind of
Yeah.
funky, had a great guitar riff. Um, and then after diving deeper, Permanent Waves. You know, I love I love every song on that album. Both albums are so incredibly done. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, Now, and then after that, I became more into, of course, I love Signals. That's an incredible album. The sound is overwhelmingly powerful and thick and full. I love the synthesizers because they're analogs. They sound real because they are real. The
Yep.
Oberheim. I've got Oberheim software here. I've got Moog synthesizers. You can't see them, but these are Moogs right here.
Oh,
And
nice.
I gotta send you that picture of my sister at Geddy Lee's studio, giving him his Moog.
Oh yeah.
I gotta send that picture to you. I
Yeah.
found it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that era. But then after I played that era millions and millions of times, I re fell in love with the All the World's a Stage album.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All the early trio, they sounded more like a trio, trio music.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex was playing his Les Paul through the Marshalls and the 335s and that it's just such a raw album. And those albums leading up to it,
Yeah.
Breath of Steel, I love the Necromancer. I love,
Oh
this
yeah.
riffy stuff. It's very Led Zeppelin-esque, but there's something
Yep.
else mystical happening that was different. So yes, I'm a huge fan of all the eras. But right
Yeah.
now, I'm kind of in like sappy emotional mode right now in my life. I guess partly because of the passing of Neil Peart and just other nuances that are going on. So I'm
Yeah.
more like, um, time stands still vibe right now. You
Yeah.
know what I
Hold
mean?
your
Ooh,
fire
yeah.
vibes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
yeah.
That's awesome. When you were talking about All the World's a Stage, the first thing that came into my head was, yeah, that album is really raw and powerful. And then you said it was raw. And it's like, oh yeah, I felt that way too because I spun that on my record player when I was a kid, getting
Yeah,
ready for school and stuff like that. And yeah,
yeah.
it's just
And
really I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, it's such a great album, and
it's
that's
like
awesome.
if you're a fan of Kiss Alive, Kiss Alive one
Oh
is
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Rush All Over the Stage
Yeah,
is better. No offense to
yeah,
Kiss,
I
but
agree.
it's just so
Yeah,
raw. I mean, they're all
sorry,
great.
Paul and Gene and
Yeah, I
everybody.
love those guys. I love those guys. I know Rush opened for them and everything, but
Yeah.
hey, it's better than my stuff I put out, and I love what I put out. So I strive to be half as good as Rush. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we all strive for that.
Right? Come on now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2112, by the way, has been my favorite Rush album for many, many years. So I don't want to forget about
Mm,
that one. Such a great album. For obviously the side one for our new album,
Yeah.
2112,
Yeah.
great.
yeah.
But a passage from
Yeah.
Bangkok, that riff, that's probably my favorite guitar riff of all time.
Yeah. There's so much great stuff. It's so hard to pick like one because
Yeah,
you start thinking of one, so that's awesome, and oh, that makes you think of this one, and that's the most oh, and this one, it's
Yep.
just you
Yep.
never end, right?
right.
You named about 6 albums there, so they're
Yeah, I
Exactly.
get it. Oh,
Yeah,
I
which
totally
is
get it.
fine. I mean that's a perfectly acceptable answer with Rush, that's for
yeah,
sure.
Heck
yeah.
yeah.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
All right, well, hey, why don't you tell us where people can find you on social media if they want to get to know you more as a Rush fan, and I guess what you're doing with your stuff too.
Absolutely. Yeah, come follow me at the Real Kellindo, Kellindo, on Instagram. And you can see me playing my Alex Lifeson Gibson ES 355 in
Yep.
Australia on tour. I had a great time playing that guitar. I was a little stressed out on the plane, but it was worth
Yeah.
Yeah.
it.
it,
Um,
it made the trip, I guess,
it
right?
made the trip. I
Very
did leave.
good.
I left it at home with my mom, although I didn't feel like flying it on Southwest back here. So it's at home with my mom in
Yeah.
Sacramento, California, with a couple other guitars of mine. And so I've got like 7 or 8 guitars here right now here in
Cool.
Dallas. But yeah, please follow me and
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you so much for having me, guys.
Hey man, thanks for
Absolutely, man.
coming
Yeah.
on, man. And yeah, and you all you guys, yeah, follow Kellindo, man. I've been following him for a while, and the stuff he posts are very, very, very cool.
Yep.
Thank
It's
you.
really enjoyable checking it out, man. Seriously.
Yep.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share about your Rush fandom before we wrap?
Oh man, I guess I can say my sister Emily Parker, who used to work for Moog Music, she was the head of marketing for Moog Music for many years, and
Ooh.
she sent me a text message with a picture of her and Geddy Lee like this, and she said, "Guess who I'm with?" I'm like, "Wait a minute, what?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm with Ryan at Geddy Lee's studio or Rush Records," and it was years ago, and I lost it. I was just like, humming, humming. How can I get there? What do we do? Let's figure something out. Tell him about me. She told him
Yeah.
about me. I'm like, going to meet Alex. So she said he's a great guy, super sweet. He clearly works out because he's in great shape, and she shook his hand and all that good stuff. But yeah, he's obviously a sweet guy, and I'm very honored and proud of
Sweet.
my sister. Huh? Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
There. Yeah.
awesome.
yeah.
It's very cool.
I'll send you
That's
the
so
picture,
cool.
Ryan.
Yeah, we'll put it.
Yeah,
We'll
be
put it in
great.
this. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah,
All right, man. Well, hey, thanks again for doing this.
thank
Pretty
you.
awesome to learn about your Rush roots and the stories you have to share. And anyone that's watching that wants to come share their Rush roots, feel free to shoot us an email, rushfans@rushfans.net. Very simple, and we'll have you on. So with that, we will wrap. Thanks, man. Take care,
Thank you very
everybody.
much. God bless. Take care.